This is super important. So I kind of grabbed a couple of screen grabs like of the young bride. This is actually me, Courtney, and Brianna. And I did this because we were talking about, all the girls in my office, we all love jewelry. But we all have different styles of what we like. And then, of course, we've got that handsome man who absolutely has to have that Rolex and that status symbol. So who is your audience? Who is that? That's an Invicta. Really, the ad says Rolex, so they fooled me? Yeah. I don't know which tennis player it is. Who is it? Federer? Thanks. He is cute. Okay, so what I want you guys to do is you've figured out your personality. You have defined the areas of growth you want in your business. Now you have to identify the audiences. And who are those customers? Remember we said, are the customers that we have the ones we want? So I really want you guys to think about the fact that you should identify who are your current audience, who's coming in your store now, who's buying from you. Very, very important. And then, who are the new audiences that you want? What are you looking to attract? So I apologize. I told them I was going to make them my little bit of a guinea pig during today's presentation. But one of the things that happened last year when we were working with Jack and Christine is they said, well, we want to grow bridal. And that's a broad statement. And there's the young bride, and then there's the second time around bride. And so one of the things that we've really come to realize in the last year is this discussion about the fact that they didn't really want to grow bridal. They wanted to grow more of the second time around bridal. And I specifically kind of outlined this side because you might find that as you're growing one area of your audiences, they may be also buying other things. So for example, the second time around bride, does she also a self-purchaser? So these are the kinds of things that I want you guys to do because it makes a difference. And there's all sorts of breakdowns of audiences. So just like you said, in your area, you're not going to have the men's jewelry. But in some areas, especially like LA, Chicago, New York, Miami, yep, that's true. And also look at the different ethnic groups here. That's very important because certain things are part of culture. So this is extremely important for you guys to do. Think about who you have and who you want. And this is a great exercise for you to really start, because before I can launch any kind of marketing, I need to know this. And without this, your marketing is going to be like shotguns, like, spaghetti. You just throw it on the wall to see what sticks, and you really don't want that. Nowadays, with the way the marketing tools work, we can be so precise and targeted with the things that we do, especially in digital. This is one of the most important things that I need from you. And you need to do yourself. So here's how you're going to do this. One of the things you need to really start doing is you need to start thinking personal. And I know a lot of people don't do this, and it's so important. In marketing, we call it creating a persona. So you're going to identify the specifics of each audience, and there should be more than one audience. So if you are going after the young bride, that's going to be one audience member. If you're going to go after the second time around bride, that's another audience member. If you're going to go after the guy who buys the Rolexes, that's a third audience. And I want you guys to ask these questions. Ask your staff these questions about the people that come in. So what magazines do they read? What technology do they use? Celebrities they like and why. So how many of you guys have seen a lot of the jewelry brands have like celebrities tied into their campaigns? So I know Uno Day 50 puts things out all the time about their celebrities. Endless Jewelry is another line, and they have a relationship with Jennifer Lopez. So that's important. The radio stations they listen to, because what we're going to talk about is even if you guys can't afford to advertise on those radio stations, you can actually target them through social media on those radio stations. So that's important to understand. Local hangouts, activities, and sports, and local lingo. So how somebody talks in Green Bay, Wisconsin is going to be a little different than how someone talks in the Northeast versus someone in Miami versus someone out west. So I'm from Rhode Island. I could run a Wicked Cool campaign. Does everybody know in New England we say wicked? Yeah. But what is in your area? So what happens, what lingo is your audience say in your area of the country? That won't make sense in my area of the country. You know who does a great job of this on a bigger scale? McDonald's. McDonald's runs those coffee commercials, and every area of the country I go to, I hear a different version of it because they're targeting their local audience. And as silly as it sounds, you guys are small enough and you're in your communities, you really should be doing this. This is actually what will differentiate you from the Kays and the Jareds and the Zales, because they aren't doing this. They're just doing those mass campaigns across the country. They're not being hyper-targeted to local. And this is a competitive advantage for you guys to be really focused on local. So this is one of the things that I always like people to think about. So another piece of your homework is to actually go ahead and give each persona a name. So I called this Megan. I gave her a picture, and we run ads from this with this picture. And so she shops at Francesca's in the mall. So it's a trendy line for like the young millennials. Okay, her style is modern. Okay, she drives a Nissan Altima Coupe. And you guys are going to think, God, really, do I have to get into this detail? But nowadays, it is so helpful. The more specific you can be, and as strange as it sounds, how many of you guys have stores where you can see your parking lots? My non-New Yorkers. Awesome. Take a peek and watch what kind of cars your customers come out of. And then look at what they're buying. And just make some notes. You'll find that you get such insights into them. And some people are going to be like, this is kind of creepy. But what we can do with social advertising nowadays is we can actually target people who go on Facebook and like Prada, who drive Jaguars, who shop at certain local stores or malls. You'd be surprised how targeted you can get with digital marketing. So this is why this is so important. I put one up here because I did want to show out, like, listens to Spotify. Do you guys all know what Spotify is? Say yes, no. So do you all know what Pandora is? Okay, so Pandora is digital radio, right? Okay, so Spotify is digital radio. But you'll find that Spotify is ideal for targeting an 18 to 29 demographic. As a matter of fact, if you ask most of millennials that are out there, they will tell you that they don't listen to Pandora. And I actually heard one of them refer to it in this exact way. Spotify is what Pandora should have been. And I was like, see, he agrees. Wow, you look good for a millennial, man. You are awesome. This is something else that I think is super important. Understanding what they like to do in their pastime, how they spend their time. When we talk about marketing, you want them to feel connected to you. So if you get how they spend their time, this is a great way for you to target and build marketing campaigns around their lives. It's all about them. We want them to come into your stores to buy, but at the end of the day, it's all about them. And this goes too for you guys who do B2B. It's all about the other people here. So when you are marketing to them, you need to listen to their issues, their concerns, their problems. So the same thing for outward, for customers.